I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing heaven today.
Choosing love.
I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing love today. I am walking the road of love right now, singing, I'm choosing love today.
Choosing joy.
I'm choosing joy today. I'm choosing joy today. I am walking the road of joy right now, singing, I'm choosing joy today.
Choosing peace.
I'm choosing peace today. I'm choosing peace today. I am walking the road of peace right now, singing, I'm choosing peace today.
Choosing heaven.
I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing heaven today.
Welcome, welcome everyone to the Center for Spiritual Living in Colorado Springs. My name is Reverend Sally Bartholomew. I am the Senior Minister and Spiritual Director here. Woo-hoo! We are so glad that you are with us here today on this beautiful, beautiful sunny spring day. And we have heat in the sanctuary. Yes, yes. So I want to give a special thanks to Climate Systems who came in and they got the part that we weren't supposed to get until tomorrow, this weekend, installed it and got us up and running. So let's give them some love. So we are a spiritual community that comes together to talk about, to honor, to be God in expression. And so we know that people come to us from various paths, various walks of life, and we are glad that you are here today celebrating this day with us. Is there anyone who is here for the very first time and willing to raise your hand and admit it? Woo-woo! Thank you, thank you. It is a blessing to us that you are here today. So we have a flower as a sign of recognition and a clipboard where you can give us some of your information and we will gladly give you some of our information. So it has become our custom here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Colorado Springs to welcome each other to this day. So I invite everyone to stand and welcome each other.
I'm choosing. Right. Let's try it again. Send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea.
I
Send my love
into the heavens, and it returns to me.
I send my love
Over the mountains, I send my love. Over the sea, I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me.
joy.
I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my power over the mountains. I send my power over the sea. I send my power into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send peace over the mountains. I send peace over the sea. I send peace into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me, and it returns to me, and it returns to me. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am. I am. I am that I am. Oh, I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am. I am. I am that I am. Ooh, I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am. I
The words of inspiration today begin with a quote from Ianla Van Zandt. Our minds work like a garden. It is fertile ground that accepts any and everything we plant. Good or evil, constructive or destructive, our lives will bear the fruit of the seeds we plant in our minds. And from Pam Brown, a friendship can weather most things and thrive in thin soil, but it needs a little mulch of letters and phone calls and small, silly presents every so often, just to save it from drying out completely. And from our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, there is a power around you that knows and that understands all things. This power works like the soil. It receives the seed of your thought and at once begins to operate upon it. It will receive whatever you give to it and will create for you and throw back at you whatever you think into it. Pray with me. As I take a breath and drop down into my heart, I know that's where God lives in me. And as I do this, I think about my life. I think about this earth. I think about all the things in this universe. The bigness, the largeness of this universe. And I think about how small my life is in this great big picture. And I know just as God has created this universe, God has created me. And I know that every part of me is God. I know that every part of my life is God. I know that my relationships, my social events, my adventures, my family, they're all God. And I know that just as the earth, the soil of the earth, has been here for centuries, eons, millenniums, I know that there's parts of me that have been around that long. My ancestors that go so far back. And I know that I have the opportunity to make my life the very best possible, thanks to God. And I know that there is so much for me in this life. God has given me so much. And right now I know that this service is blessed and that each and every person listening to my voice, whether it's here in this building or online, each person is blessed with God as their creator. And each person is blessed with ancestors that go way back in time. And each person is blessed with choice. Each person is blessed with dreams. Each person is blessed with anything they want to do in their life. They just have to put it in that seed in their mind. And right now, I bless this building, this church, this Center for Spiritual Living. I bless everything that's bringing this service together today. The production team, the ushers, the greeters. I bless our children downstairs. I bless their teachers. I bless the music team as they sing and play with Spirit, with God. And I absolutely know that our practitioners are blessed as they hold the consciousness of this community. And I know that our Reverend David is blessed today as he speaks the words that we need to hear, that he allows God to speak him today. And for all these blessings in my life, I am thankful, grateful for every one of them, grateful for every person in my life, grateful for everything. And so with this thankfulness and gratefulness, I release my words to the law, knowing that the law always says, yes, it is done. And so I get out of the way, I let it happen, and we say in one voice together, and so it is.
I'm always changing. Who I was yesterday is gone. Embrace who I am today. Let go of who I was before the dawn. Take only what I need with me. Leave behind hurtful memories. Once I have learned all I can't keep carrying my pain with me. Every moment, every day, I'm always deciding how I want to live, who I want to be. I'm always changing. Who I was yesterday is gone. Embrace who I am today. Let go of who I was before the dawn. I'm always changing. Who I was yesterday is gone. Embrace who I am today. Let go of who I was before the dawn. Whenever I get stuck in my life, I ask what I can do right now instead of why. Can't let my fears define my journey. And I gotta forgive myself when I don't feel worthy. Every moment, every day, I'm always deciding how I want to live, who I want to be. I'm always changing. Who I was yesterday is gone. Embrace who I am today. Let go of who I was before the dawn. I'm always changing. Who I was yesterday is gone. Embrace who I am today. Let go of who I was before the dawn. I don't know what tomorrow will bring, how many years I'm living. All I know is I have today to enjoy all the love I'm given. I'm always changing. Who I was yesterday is gone. Embrace who I am today. Let go of who I was before the dawn. I'm always changing. Who I was yesterday is gone. Embrace who I am today. Let go of who I was before the dawn. I'm always changing. Who I was yesterday is gone. Embrace who I am today. let go of who I was before the dawn.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to our musicians, Susan, Ken, Teddy, Rob, Mark. We are so blessed with our music here at the center. Thank you. And I also want to give a shout out to our production team in the back. Today it's Mackenzie and Renee and Evelyn. They keep us going. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I get the pleasure of introducing our guest speaker today. Many of you here already know Dr. David. Dr. David Goldberg is an ordained CSL minister, and he's also a licensed minister through Unity Worldwide Ministries. And so he likes to say that makes him proudly bi-spiritual. He served as the spiritual leader for 2 church communities. He speaks regularly at New Thought churches and centers across Colorado and beyond, including Unity of the Mountains in Vail, Colorado. Yes. And he is also a certified Labyrinth facilitator. And we have heard in the announcements that we'll be doing a Labyrinth activity on May 3rd. Well, Dr. David will be doing a new Labyrinth initiation, at the Unity Village in Missouri on the World Labyrinth Day on May 3rd. And as he continues his ministry, once a minister, always a minister, right? So as he continues his ministry, he is continuing to engage in life's rituals, weddings, funerals, anniversaries. And so he has his counseling and coaching business, which is Tranquil Transitions, that he still does at this time. He serves also, he's a very busy man. He serves also as an adjunct faculty member at the Metropolitan State University of Denver, where he teaches in journalism, media production, and communication departments. So Dr. David and his husband, Rick, who's here with us today, who's the internationally renowned Rick Finbow, they live in Centennial, Colorado, with Terry, their Karen Terrier, whom they like to tease, is the great-great-grandson of Toto, of the Wizard of Oz. So please welcome Dr. David.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Well, good morning, CSLCS. Oh my goodness. What a joy. I think it's been a couple of years since I've been with you. And before that, just speaking with you for several Sundays, I was with you for 3 Christmas Eve services. It was my honor to be here and to be with all of you. Honestly, it was a little overwhelming with the dancers and the flames and the fire, and I was happy to be sitting by a window, and you continue to do beautiful work, and it's my joy and my honor to be with you. So recognizing that we're getting a bit of an early start today, just to catch you up on a little bit about what's been happening in the world. Today we get the championship game of the women's Final Four in college basketball. Tomorrow, after 2 great games yesterday, we get the men's Final Four. Today is actually also National Tartan Day. So I may be a Goldberg, and on my mother's side, my grandfather was born in Aberdeen. My middle name is Scott. So, Rick asked me not to do the kilt today. We just weren't sure what was going to be happening with the whole boiler situation. So And one of my personal favorites, National Caramel Popcorn Day. Yeah, absolutely. And for the history buffs, you may remember, Rick and I were listening to some music on the way down. I was warming up a little bit, singing way too loud and way off tune. And we heard a song from the musical, The Book of Mormon. And you may remember that it was on this day in 1869 that the founder of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Brigham Young, married his 27th and final wife. She was 24, he was 67, and that's all I can tell you about that. So we come together in joy, we come together in expression. And yes, Reverend Sally, thank you so much for your kind invitation. Thank you all for the warm welcome. As I often say, yes, I am Dr. David Goldberg, more widely known as the husband of Rick Finbow. And Rick is here as well, and it's our joy and our honor to be with you. The other thing that I wanted to share with you, one of the reasons I reached out to Reverend Sally when I did is some of you may recall I served as the publisher and editor of Science and Mind magazine for a little over 7 years. That was my ministry, and many of you joined me on that journey from layperson to practitioner to minister while I was sitting in that chair, if you will. And I was so pleased when my friends and colleagues at the magazine reached out after all these years and said, David, would you consider writing the daily guides for the magazine for us? Would you be interested in being in the magazine for April? And I was like, oh my goodness, what a thrill. Yes, yes, yes. And the next words out of their mouths were, the theme for the month is fertilizing our future. Out of anything, anywhere in the world, out of any theme, out of any word, out of any concept, out of any God quality, I get to write about fertilizer. Yeah. Okay, we can do that. So I chose to take it a different direction. I chose to take it a little bit toward biodiversity and what that looks like, and biodiversity as a spiritual practice, and how we can participate, whether we choose not to use a straw at lunch, or the young activist Greta Thunberg, who was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize at 22. Which means she had to start her work a whole lot earlier. Some things are big, some things are little. We can all make a difference. So yeah, this is what the magazine looks like. If you haven't seen it in a while, they now combine issues. So you get March and April in the same issue. So if you haven't had a chance, if you got up a little early today, I would like to share with you the daily guide for April 6th, 2025. Seeds of change. Agricultural practices impact our planet in innumerable and sometimes unimaginable ways. In New Zealand, the Center for Climate Action on Agricultural Emissions promotes sustainable farming. Their goals are to unite efforts to accelerate research and development and to create and provide new tools, technology, and practices to lessen on-farm emissions. And they want to get all of these to farmers faster. Today, each of us can plant a metaphorical or a literal seed of change, knowing each small step contributes to a thriving earth. From the food on our plates to the clothes we wear, agriculture touches every aspect of our lives. Unsustainable practices threaten ecosystems, and initiatives like the one mentioned offer pathways to change. By prioritizing soil health, reducing emissions, and fostering biodiversity, we cultivate a sustainable future. What seeds can you plant today in your garden, in your community, or in your habits? Can you, as Jane Goodall suggests, set aside one day a week to be a no-meat day, thereby lowering methane gases and reducing the amount of land set aside for domesticated cattle? Trust that even the smallest actions can grow into transformative change. And the affirmation I offer for today: I plant seeds of change that grow into a sustainable and abundant future. I know, I love it too. And you are always welcome here, blessed little giant soul with short legs. Please don't leave. You do whatever you need to do and stay with us. So, starting at the very beginning, that's another song we heard on our way down today, from The Sound of Music. Starting at the very beginning, so many holy books offer thoughts around sustainability. Obviously, it wasn't called that in the day. For our purpose today, let's take a look at the Bible, just by way of frame of reference. The Bible contains various principles and practices that reflect a deep respect for the earth. There are many biblical teachings and practices that promote stewardship, care for the land, and the ecological balance. Just a few. The concept of gleaning. That is where farmers were encouraged not to harvest the crops on the edge of their fields. And those who couldn't afford food, those who were what we would call experiencing, hunger, or couldn't afford food, or in their case, they use the term foreigners who are settling in a new land. They were invited in to glean the crops so they could stay alive, so they could eat. That comes from Leviticus, and it's also mentioned in Ruth. What about care for the soil? Deuteronomy, we find an invitation to avoid planting incompatible crops because it leaches too many nutrients from the land for what is able to be grown in that space. Tree preservation, Deuteronomy also offers us, and this was new information for me. During warfare, the Israelites were instructed not to destroy fruit trees. This prohibition emphasizes the importance of preserving trees that provide a source of food, and it reflects a respect for long-term sustainability over short-term gain. One more, soil fertility, mentioned in Kings as well as Isaiah. In times of hardship, when there were droughts or other difficulties, the Bible speaks about the need for sustaining agriculture for future survival. In time of drought, the Bible encouraged growing crops for future sustenance. In Isaiah, we get a promise from God that the people will be able to sow and reap despite their difficulties, reflecting the importance of maintaining the soil's fertility for long-term food security. So I was a little hesitant, honestly, to share that with you today as a New Thought community, as a Center for Spiritual Living. As Reverend Sally suggested, I have served in 2 spiritual communities. It's been a great joy and an honor to be in that role. And when I was interviewing for one of those minister jobs, one of the board members asked me point blank. He said, "David, we identify as more of a metaphysical community. How frequently can we expect to hear you quote from the Bible?" I thought that's a little bit of a loaded question for a minister. And I said, I love the Bible as I love all of the holy books. And you can expect me to quote from the Bible about as frequently as you might hear Dr. Seuss or Brene Brown or Wayne Dyer or my grandmother. And because that's one of the many things that I appreciate about our teaching. And that's one of the things that Ernest Holmes was so clear about We accept wisdom wherever it lies. Yeah, I may have had a little bit more formal training, and Reverend Sally has had some formal training in ministry, and you are all ministers. You are CEOs of your own life. You are wise, and you have access to so many wisdom keepers. And it is on that note that I also want to recognize, speaking of ministry, I want to recognize my friend and your beloved music minister, Ken Jansen. As Reverend Sally said, he is such a gift, and he is in such demand, and he chooses to be here with you, and it's an honor to share the platform with you, Ken. Thank you. So if we fast forward then from the Bible days, right, from the starting of the Common Era to Ernest Holmes and some other New Thought leaders doing their work and bringing their gifts to the planet, Ernest Holmes loved the grounds at Asilomar National Park in California. That is where Ernest chose to gather his family of choice, his followers, his congregants, whatever terminology you choose. That was the place that fed Ernest. Because of the grounding, because of being by the sea, because of the sand, because of the setting, that was where he felt he could share his vision for a more conscious and spiritual world. So if you may not be familiar with our founder, Ernest Holmes, he too was grounded in the earth and allowed that, indeed encouraged that to be an important part of his ministry. And as was also shared, I am bi-spiritual. You do have to be careful with that one, being licensed in the Unity tradition. And the founders of Unity, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, were also grounded in the earth. They made a different choice. They chose Lee's Summit, Missouri as the home for Unity Village, just outside of Kansas City. For them, it was important to be in the heartland, to be easily accessible for their congregants, for their students, for their followers, if you will. And they chose Lee's Summit for virtually the same reason. It was a strategic location. It was a, peaceful and inspiring environment. And it supported their long-term vision. So what that speaks to me about Earth then, I wanted to transition into the beautiful labyrinth that you have here. And yeah, I love being a certified labyrinth facilitator. I had a beautiful experience in the labyrinth in the cathedral in Chartres, France. Came back here, decided that that was going to be an important part of my work, and indeed it is. And I was honored to be here with you. Thank you for the invitation. When you dedicated this, your beautiful labyrinth, the latest and the most recent as part of the Legacy Labyrinth Project. And as was shared, Chris Katzmeyer and I will be offering a free seminar. So if you're not here, if you feel like a field trip, please join us in Lee's Summit, Missouri for the dedication of their new labyrinth on May 3rd. It's free and open to the public. And so, where does that bring us then on this beautiful day as we explore agriculture? You know, I got to tell you, I'm a city boy. I grew up in a suburb of Denver. I grew up in Broomfield. I've traveled a lot. I've had a lot of different experiences, a lot of different potentially agricultural experiences. I did my bachelor's work at Colorado State, which was originally known as Colorado Agriculture and, I keep saying mining, and that's not right, Agriculture and Mechanical Arts. And even though it's now Colorado State University, they still have a giant A on the side of the mountain by Hughes Stadium, if anybody's been up north for a game, for Aggies. So agriculture is important. Obviously, we are a landlocked state. And so that is what we do. And that is what we're exploring, is agriculture touching every part of our lives. You know, Michael, thank you for sharing that great quote from Ernest Holmes. I have another one that I wanted to share with you as well. Life always reveals itself to us in terms of what we give. And for me, that is reminding us of the energy and intention, right? It's one thing to say what we want, and Ernest would tell us that the energy behind is equally as important. So whether we're talking about raw materials or conventional farming practices, it's a bit of a double-edged sword. We know it, we honor it, we bless those who work in all elements that provide food for us and put food on our table. And we know that previously there has been some, if not a lot, of damage done to our ecosystem. And some of those things include monocropping, which means planting the same crop year after year after year after year after year and not giving it a rest. And when I heard that, my head went to one of our ministerial colleagues that I didn't know, but that I had heard about. In my church, in our church, in one of our home communities, they had a minister years ago, again, before we were there. When they hired him, he was really clear. He had a notebook, and he had 104 sermons. Do the math. That is 2 years worth of sermons. He said, at the end of these 2 years, I need to leave because I can only figure out 104 ways to tell you what I need to tell you, right? That, for me, is the same thing as monocropping. We're doing the same thing over and over and over. Well, you know, fast forward to today, and again, to being asked to write the daily guides for April, when I looked at the calendar, and I was looking at what I might highlight and what some of the features might be, I saw that it was Earth Day, which is great. That's a wonderful fit. I can do something with that. I also saw that for the first time in decades, not decades, first time in a decade perhaps, Easter is going to be falling on 4/20. Again, right? God has a sense of humor. Okay, Goldberg, you get fertilizer and you get Easter on 4/20. And when I posted that in a minister's discussion group, somebody chimed in and said, oh, good. That will give us a great opportunity to redefine our burning bowl ceremony. I thought, or, you know, in talking with my friends at the magazine, they're like, David, we know you, we love you. Please stick to Easter. So that's what you get on 4/20, spoiler alert. So as we talk about that then, as we talk about the impact of biodiversity, we get to recognize that our food systems impact all living things. And that's a lot. And as I was reflecting on what I wanted to share this week, I was walking our little dog. I was walking Terry. And he sends his love, but he clearly got a better offer today. So I was walking him around the block, and I saw a little roly-poly. And I just remembered as a kid, you know, not being very conscious / being a kid, I would just stomp on him. And, you know, bugs are for killing. And thankfully that has changed with time and age and evolution and wisdom. And thankfully Terry chose not to eat him either. And I just got to bless the bug and keep moving. And where in your life can you do that? Where can you honor your growth and expansion? Where can you honor how you have changed and shifted when you've received some new information? Either from this beautiful, beloved spiritual community, through sectarian means, through reading, through communication. How can you honor your path and the good work that you are doing in this moment? So let's talk for a bit about the call for change. You know, we're really big on treat and move your feet. For those of you who are with us for the first time, that's simply a way of saying we get to pray and we also get to take action. Not many of us have the opportunity to lead that monastic life and be in that place of calm or be in that place of meditation virtually, you know, most of our waking hours. So our invitation is treat and move your feet, pray and take action. So let's think about sustainable agriculture. And again, not all of us are out there on the farm. We bless those who are. And we get to shift what our agricultural practices are and honor those who are embracing that change. All creatures depend on it, and we are the ones who have the power to make choices in support of our environment. We get to promote sustainability, and we get to help restore ecosystems that may be damaged. So what does that look like? Again, I'm a city guy. This took a little bit of research a few years ago. That is sustainable practices, crop rotation, agroforestry, organic farming, improving the health of the soil, conserving water, promoting biodiversity. A lot of big words, a lot of big concepts. What can I do in my house? That's up to you. Maybe you can get a larger bottle of water rather than continually getting the small bottles that are adding to more landfills. I don't know. You see, it doesn't have to be huge. Small change is equally as valuable. Choose organic, choose local, you know that. Help create a demand for farming practices that nurture the land rather than exploit it. And I wanted to take a moment and take you down a rabbit hole with me. My brother got married here in Colorado Springs and raised his 3 boys. They homeschooled. 2 of them still live here. One moved all the way to Pueblo, and that's where they're choosing to raise their family. And my brother's oldest nephew, who lives here in Colorado Springs, he and his wife both have full-time jobs, and they were running an organic farm for years here in Colorado Springs called the Twisted Pines Farm. And I wanted to share with you what they had on their website, a new generation of farming. It's important to know what you're eating. It's even more important to know what you aren't eating. We strive to make sure that you and your family are provided with peace of mind, knowing that our products are not only raised to the highest standards with the best feeds and on fresh grass, but we also ensure safe and humane processing of all of our animals. We eat what we grow as well, so if it wouldn't go on our plate, it wouldn't go on yours. They go on to say, our purpose is simple: to provide high quality, sustainably farmed, locally raised food that's affordable and available in our community. Our passion is farming. We are in continual awe of God and His creation, and we operate our farm to mirror the system He created. Our philosophy is holistic. We embrace every cycle and season of life and pass that on to our customers, family, and friends. There's nothing like fresh, pasture-raised meat. Here at Twisted Farms, all of our meat animals are treated with the utmost respect and are humanely raised. They spend most of their lives on fresh pasture doing exactly what God created them to do. So Rick and I went down and took one of Grant and Allie's. They had a Meat 101 and a Chickens 101. And we took the Meat 101. And I learned so much that day from my beloved nephew and from my 2 great nephews, who clearly know a whole lot more than Uncle Dave. And it was good. And the one question that stuck with me and that we continued to try, that I was continuing to try to work through, and I finally just asked my nephew. I was like, Grant, I identify as a carnivore, absolutely. I bless the people on different paths, and I've tried them oh so briefly, and they're not for me. And I said, so tell me about, humanely processed and respected, and then they end up on our plate. And he's like, yeah, Uncle Dave, we get that question more often than not as a part of this conversation. And he said, I like to say that the worst day of our animals' lives happens to be the last. And I thought, okay, I could live with that. And based on any number of factors, Grant and Allie closed Twisted Pines 5 years ago now. But that was my introduction to biodiversity, to ag farming, to rotating crops and rotating animals within pens. And I'm forever grateful. And so The other thing that we know, my friends, is the spiritual connection. You knew it before I offered it, before I shared it. You know that there's a connection here. You know that our analogy within our teaching is seed soil life, right? Yeah, seed soil life. And we continually lean into that. And that every action we take is equal to an equal and opposite reaction, right? Kind of physics 101 or biology 101. So if we're gardening, many folks are getting a little antsy to start their gardening, and I get that. If you plant petunias, right, you plant a purple and white variegated petunia, you're not going to get kumquats because you get what you plant. And that is our teaching. Whatever you think about, you bring about. So whatever you're thinking, the universe is an objective medium, and it has no option but to provide that for you, right? So how can you change your thinking on this day? How can you change your thinking about sustainability? Are you going to be irritated when you don't get a straw? Or is it okay? Can you train your lips to drink out of a glass, right? How can you expand your thinking and expand your life choices? You know, I love the work of Ernest Holmes, and it was my great honor to be able to dive into that all day, every day for 7 years and bringing his work to you through the magazine. And another one of my favorite quotes of Holmes is, "We are all chemists in the laboratory of life. What shall we create?" And I would simply add, use your powers for good. And so that is the invitation on this day. The other piece that I would invite you to consider, that I would invite you to tie in, is our belief in the law of attraction. Rick and I pulled up today, and we got the perfect parking place for, things that we needed to bring in and things that we needed to do. That's kind of metaphysics 101, right? Let's manifest an awesome parking place. What does that mean to you? What is the law of cause and effect? How are you, in the words of Mikhail Csikszentmihalyi, how are you in the flow? How can you, if you choose, how can you ramp that up a little bit? How can you turn that up for you and your beloveds in your spiritual community? In New Thought, we do believe in that law of circulation, the idea that what we give to the world will come back to us, right? Karma, call it what you will. Whatever you put out, you will receive. When we give the earth love, respect, and care through sustainable practices, we receive the blessings of a cleaner, more abundant world. The seeds we plant today through conscious choices bear fruit for future generations. I was so pleased. Again, it is such a joy to be back with you and see so many familiar faces and so many new faces. And I was so pleased just in the announcements alone. You're recycling Easter eggs. That's perfect. That's awesome. I invite you to pay attention to that. Find some at home that maybe your kiddos have outgrown or you're not using anymore. Bring them in. Those are the things that make a difference. For the sale that's happening soon, I love that everybody can bring your stuff. You can try to sell it, you can work on that fair exchange principle. And whatever you have left, you can donate to be recycled or resold. Somebody is thinking ahead. Somebody is saying, what are we going to do with this stuff that people don't want? Rather than throw it away, what else can we do? So my point is, the consciousness is already here, and I honor you in that. And again, underscoring one more time, no idea is too large or too small. So keep up that extraordinary work. Every choice matters. And ours is the work of creating a future that honors the entire earth and all life, all sentient life on this planet. So what does that look like again? Some of you are so good at supporting local farmers. Grant and Allie loved seeing a car pull up, and maybe it was lamb, and maybe it was a cow, and maybe it was bison, and maybe it was chicken. And they got to share their knowledge and their love with so many people. Just the motto of reduce, reuse, recycle. What can we do to reduce our imprint on the planet? Plant trees, start community gardens, support organizations that do. In addition to your beautiful labyrinth, I love that you chose the chart 11th Circuit. That's one of my all-time favorites. I love the landscaping that you're doing around it. It's beautiful. It's inviting. It's warming up the space. You're doing extraordinary work there. And how can we continue to educate ourselves and others about sustainable practices and their impact? So just think about it. Just be with that. I mentioned earlier Greta Thunberg, the 22-year-old that was nominated for the Nobel Prize by 3 members of parliament from her native Sweden. At 8, she began her journey with regard to what she could do around the environment. Shortly thereafter, she chose to become vegan. Shortly thereafter, when she was in demand as a speaker, she chose not to fly in airplanes again. And that was just her way of committing to her work. She has written the climate book, and she continues to be very much in demand. And again, for me, that fits so beautifully with our teaching of accepting wisdom wherever it lies. I was sharing with Reverend Sally and some of the practitioners as we were getting started this morning that part of my work at Metro State University as an adjunct faculty member is to teach the university-wide requirement for the public speaking class. And that means I have students in aerospace engineering and sociology and early childhood development. And, you name it, whatever university offers, they all have to take this class. So I'm teaching 2 sections of, 20 or 30 or something. And so I showed up on my first day teaching this class with my 18-page syllabus and all the letters after my name and, feeling pretty cocky and pretty confident about myself. And then I remembered part of the university's mission, and they are so proud that 60% of the students at Metro State University are first-generation college attendees, and good for them. And they don't have anybody to lean into with the basic questions. They don't have a parent or a sibling or a family member. It's just them. So rather than all of this great wisdom that I was going to share with them, I got to feel into that and say, what they need is to feel safe. What they need is to feel a sense of community. So rather than going word for word through my awesome syllabus, P.S., many of them speak English as a second or a third or a fourth language. We did some games that we learned in improvisational theater. We got to know each other's names. We got to feel safe with each other. And then I asked them to do a 5-minute talk. Many of us takes 5 minutes to say our name. Some people, that is a huge assignment. So I gave them 5 minutes. I wanted to hear about one of their grandparents. And I had students from the Ukraine. I had students from all over Mexico. I had students from Paraguay, from so many different countries. And they stood up, and every one of them completed the assignment. Now, to be clear, it looked differently and it sounded differently than what I wanted, right? As a person of a certain age and a certain gender and a certain experience. And they all completed the assignment based on their soul journey and what was theirs to do. So I got to step back and say, yeah, I'm the professor. I had a little bit more experience than all of these folks, and they taught me such an important lesson that day about choosing to use their voice to speak into the space and share their wisdom with me. So that's what I invite you into, my friends, as a part of this beautiful community. continue to share, continue to engage, continue to share what you know, what you love, what you feel, what you believe, what you are passionate about. It's been a minute since we've been here, and Rick has found a new passion. If any of you happen not to be on Facebook, Rick is taking classes in watercolor painting. He said, David, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I can do just about anything and make money from it. And I want to do something that I don't have to make money from. So he's been painting for 2 months, and guess what? He's already sold one of his paintings. And he's got a commission for another one later this summer. But he's following his passion. And that's what I invite you into, my friends. What is your passion with regard to the earth, with regard to biodiversity? It's not everybody's thing to sort stuff for recycling. I get that. And do something you can do. Because you, your voice, your power, your energy does make a difference. You are that perfect child in whom God is well pleased. Please join me in prayer. So what a good day. What a good day to be together, eye to eye, face to face, heart to heart, in this extraordinary community of like-minded beings. So many different paths, so many different experiences. We bless and honor them all. Those on a spiritual path, those on a religious path, those who identify as not religious or spiritual, all are welcome in this beloved community. And as we think about our home, as we think about this glorious planet, we gently engage in what we can do to clean house, what we can do to support all on the planet now and all those to come. Just as we stand on the shoulders of 7 generations, we prepare that foundation for 7 generations in the future. I call it good. I call it blessed. I call it extraordinary that this community comes together and chooses to make a difference, vibrating at a higher level energetically, telling us what they love, telling us what they're passionate about, rather than telling us what they don't like and who they don't like. For we know that energy vibrates, positive energy vibrates at such a higher level. And I bless each and every being in this community, in person and online, who chooses that higher vibration, who chooses the cosmic yes. And I just give thanks. And I call in the highest and best of in every aspect of every one of these beloveds' lives. Mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, relational, professional. It is all good because it is all God. And I simply say thank you. And I know that going forward, that every action, reaction, interaction, and transaction is blessed and a blessing. It is God speaking to God. As we live the concept of Namaste, the divinity in me blesses and recognizes the divinity in you. So I simply release these words into the amazing alchemy of love and logic, known as the law, knowing that it is done before it was thought, before it was spoken. And I simply say yes. I say yes, I say yes, I say yes. Thank you, Spirit. All is well. And we anchor this together by saying, and so it is,
And so it is.
and so I am,
And so I am.
and so we are.
Am I strong enough to bear the burdens that sometimes come living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decisions when I'm standing in the fork in the road? Sometimes I wonder and I ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because
I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up.
Yes, I am the place.
I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place.
I am the place where God
And
lives,
you are the place.
moves and breathes and has
We
its
all are the
being.
place.
I am the place where God shows up. Yeah. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And let's give some love to Dr. David. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm going to ask our practitioners that are in the sanctuary today to stand so that we may acknowledge that they are here and look around and see if before you leave today, please ask for prayer. These individuals are here, ready, willing, and able to serve as our prayer practitioners, and they do this with such love. Yeah, so thank you, practitioners. And now we move into our time of gracious giving, and if you do it electronically, you're welcome to take hold of one of our little signs here so that you can place your giving on your heart. And we are giving to our center, and let's share this affirmation together. I joyfully celebrate the flow of God through me. I am grateful for receiving and giving to my spiritual community. I give thanks, always knowing God is my source. And so it is.
Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All I need is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, please bless these seeds I sow. Please warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Pulling weeds and picking stones, we are made of dreams and bones. Feel the need to grow my own, 'cause the time is close at hand. Grain for grain, sun and rain, find my way in nature's chain. Tune my body and my brain to the music from the land. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All I need is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, please bless these seeds I sow. Please warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Plant your rows straight and long, temper them with prayer and song. Mother Earth will make them strong if you give her love and care. But there's an old crow watching hungrily from his perch on yonder tree. In my garden I'm as free as my feathered friend up there. How inch by inch, row by row, gonna make my garden grow. All I need is a rake and hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, please bless the seeds I sow. Please warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Till the rain comes tumbling down. Till the rain comes tumbling down.
Hello. There we go. The light was green, but speaking of gracious giving, this is the time in our service where we actually do give back to our community. And so the names that are in this basket are people that are organizations that have been nominated by all of you to receive a gift from us. And I'm going to borrow you, Rick, if you would like to grab one of these for me. Just pick one for me. All right, thank you very much. All right, so this week's recipient of our Gracious Giving program is Contemplative Outreach. And they focus on the method of centering prayer, the prayer of consent. Centering prayer is a method designed to facilitate the development of contemplative, I forgot the N, prayer, thank you, by preparing our faculties to receive this gift. This was submitted by Suzanne De Bueno. Thank you. All right, and I think a wonderful way to start to come to the end of the service would be to bring in the energy of our kids. Wonderful. Is anybody going to share anything with us today? Or would you like to tell us what you did today?
We learned that our words and our actions means we plant seeds like joyness and kindness.
High five. That is wonderful. Yes, we do. We plant our seeds. So one of those seeds that we'll plant to round up today was going to be our peace song. So please stand, join hands, put your hands over your heart, and we will sing the peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that is meant to be. With God as our center, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment every step I take. Let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Have a wonderful week, everyone.